Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 16 of the Focus TV. Joined tonight by Wyatt. We got Raymond Lyons. Cardell Dudley Jr. will be checking in with us in just a little bit on the first day of the CIAA tournament. We'll talk some college hoops, let you know the latest with George Washington men's and women's, and then Maryland women's basketball. Ray's going to give you guys a quick look of this second half of the season for the Washington Wizards. There's 24, 25 some odd games left. Want to know what you should be looking forward to, or the opposite of that, because infinite number of possibilities. But first, we're going to start with this weekend's All-Star festivities on the NBA side. Octavia, Ray, just want to ask you first of all, did you enjoy All-Star weekends? We'll first start with the positives. Octavia, we'll start with you, and then Ray.
Positives. Let me think. I mean, the positive was I just love the fact that Cleveland Plains just decided to boo Steph all weekend. I mean, he couldn't even have a moment with his wife and 2 Chainz and 2 Chainz and his wife on the stage. They had to boo him through that, and I get it. It's Steph. He broke your heart a lot, but the fact that he came back and scored 15 threes in the All-Star game and won an MVP, got the first ever Kobe Bryant trophy, scored 50 points at age 33, going on 34. I mean, Steph is just Steph, and it was actually probably my favorite part of the weekend to see him, like, just because he was, we know he got the scoring or most 3-pointers in the league record earlier this year, but he kind of went onto a little bit of a shooting slump as the season progressed on from there. So it was kind of nice to see him kind of like get back really, really into it. I mean, 15 threes is just ridiculous. Like, in an All-Star game where, although we know, like, they don't really play defense, they don't play hard, it is what it is, but still, like, there's so much talent on the floor. The fact that he even got a chance to shoot 15 threes, and I actually think he shot more than that, it's kind of wild. So that was probably my favorite part of it. Also, I love the 3-point contest with Cat. It was nice to see a big man win the 3-point contest, especially as much as Cat has been working on his game, him being an All-Star this year as well. And I saw like some clips where he actually like talked to Steph and got some pointers about how to actually shoot in a 3-point contest. Because I think, as you can see throughout that contest, like, there were good shooters in there, but even listening to the commentary from Reggie Miller and watching them actually go through it, like, there's still an art to actually going through a 3-point contest as opposed to just shooting threes in a game. So to hear that, and like, I saw the clip where Steph, like, where Cat was actually like, okay, so you do this, like, what do you do there? Like, and kind of like getting pointers from Steph. So like, when I saw that, I was like, it's a no-brainer he was going to win. Like, he was like prepared. He came in here like, yeah, I'm really serious about this. Anything else? Those are probably my 2 favorite parts. I'll save the negatives for after you guys give your positives.
Yeah,
I got some of those.
There's definitely some of those this weekend. What say you, Ray? The positives from this weekend before we get to the other side of that.
Yeah, I enjoy Sunday. The game of, like Octavia said, Steph going crazy. But a footnote to that: if I'm other NBA players, I'm not letting him get his rhythm back. So now you're going to pay for it for the rest of the season. But, I mean, I don't care. It was fun to watch for me. I don't have to deal with that. But my favorite part of the weekend, hands down, was the acknowledgement of the top 75 players. Just to see all those guys. Yeah, that was that was a great moment, man. Just to see that collection of NBA players together. I think it was either Isaiah Thomas or Dr. J. I can't remember who said it, but he was like, literally, the history of the NBA is like right here in this room. And he's right, man. Just like how the last time we saw that collection of talent was when they did the 50 greatest players. So it's always nice to see all those guys together interacting. Jovial MJ is that dude's funny, man. Like, it's just to see him, just interacting with past players and the present players. You rarely get those glimpses of him, especially how he's portrayed as such, basically as an asshole. But but yeah, it's good to see him smile and see him get celebrated, you know, and just see those guys enjoy each other. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the weekend. But yeah, I did enjoy the game. And and yeah, the Cleveland fans are so petty. But I mean,
My bad.
yeah,
I didn't want
nah,
to cut you off.
you good. I get it, but come on, man. Like, what's the use?
It was their fault. It's their fault. So blame it on them. Like, oh, okay.
I think there's more than enough people they could blame it on that aren't the Warriors. But hey, what do I know? We're going to be mature here and keep it moving. But again, yeah, I'm with Ray. It was fun seeing, you know, Happy Mike, I guess. And I feel like some of it had to do with like, we know how like we saw, you know, before Kobe's passing, what he was like that bridge. It felt like I think some of that's what we're seeing with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously can't speak for that man. We know what Kobe meant to him. Could be some of that just filling that void kind of. Because I honestly think, you know, if Kobe's here, I don't know if we see that Mike. Like, could be wrong. That's just me personally speaking for me. But like Ray said, it was fun to watch it because, well, look, Ray led us into this part. Thank you for the segue. The real-time discourse when the 75 players were being introduced on Twitter, watching the switch was hilarious. The switching energy when Mike wasn't there, blah, 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 so disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. He walked down, and it was one of those things where some of us older folks, we keep telling people, like, the two MJs, both Jackson and Jordan, were a little bit different in how when they showed up, like literally, there's a disturbance within the force. And some of us just be telling folks and people like, oh, you guys are just mythologizing stuff. No, we saw it firsthand. We saw the city of Cleveland. You want to talk about the Warriors hurting Cleveland? Let's go back some. You know, he kind of kicked that road off already. And they were cheering. It was like, you know, it's a little bit different. You had people we've seen talking wilds on in podcasts and things like that just weeks prior. Next to him, all that other stuff. The energy shifted. It was fun to watch it. I just wanted to ask you guys, along with sharing some of your negatives, what is, you know, just your thoughts. I know, Ray, you already shared it on the 75 being honored. I tell you want to get your thoughts on it. And then just the Twitter discourse as a whole and your negatives of the week, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, that was a good reminder. I don't know why I didn't mention that, because that was probably also one of my favorite parts, is to actually see each person like put a face to a name. Like, because some of these people, like, you haven't seen them in a long time. Like you said, like it's been, like you said, it's been 25 years. Like, I literally just have to do the math. Like, it's going to take me till I'm about 60 to see the 100-year class, you know? So it's going to be a while for us to see all of those people like that again in one space. So like, that's was definitely one of my favorite parts. To see people that my dad grew up watching, to see people that I grew up watching, and to see the younger stars that are now, you know, ascending into greatness, even the ones that played in the game that weren't in the top 75. But then, of course, there were people that were in the top 75 that some people didn't think should be in there that are still playing in the league now. So I'll digress there. But yes, I wasn't on Twitter, but it was so funny to me when I saw all this stuff afterwards, like, just to see, like, when they called Ray Allen's name, and it was like, it's like it panned to Kevin Garnett, and it was like, it was just hilarious. Like, a lot of it was really, really funny to me to see that, to see people that people didn't think should be up there, or whatever you want to call it, and to actually really sit there and be like, okay, y'all do know that Jordan is going to be the last name called, right? Like, everybody knows that. No, y'all didn't. What did y'all think this was? And like, there was like this one meme of Jordan, and it looked like he was looking behind him at LeBron, and it was like best caption wins. I was like, Jordan was probably like, I mean, come on, bro, like he could have just had the Jordan face on at this point and just like, come on, bro. But yeah, that was definitely amazing to see. Negatives. Whew. So I'm gonna start. Look, I'm gonna try not to be too petty and too extra, but I honestly wish they would do away with the celebrity game. It's trash. Why are y'all putting this on TV? It's horrible. Think of something else. I was just like, okay, it's Friday. There's not a basketball game on for me to watch, so I guess I'll watch this. It was so bad that I thought that was the only event on Friday. So I missed the Rising Stars Challenge because I was like, is this it? I'm not watching nothing else for the rest of the night. So like I missed that because I thought that was it. But yeah, it's terrible. It's overdone. It's I don't like it. Obviously the worst, well, I won't get to the worst part. Another thing, I kind of like the halftime performance a little bit, but I don't know what was up with the music and the sound system in Cleveland. It was like every time DJ Khaled was saying something, I couldn't hear, and that's kind of crazy because you can always hear DJ Khaled, which is wild. So, and it's like Mary J. Blige, like, bro, we just saw you last week. I get it. You got to get your coins. Can we switch it up a little bit? That's the petty side of me. But obviously, the worst part of the entire weekend was this horrible ass dunk contest. I mean, when I say horrible, it was terrible. And one of my friends on Facebook, he was like, the crazy thing is usually like on social media, you have people like debating back and forth. Like somebody will say like, no, it wasn't that bad. Or somebody be like, oh, it's terrible. He was like, this is like the first time I've ever seen everybody on the same page. Like everybody said it was bad, like everybody. And he was like, and I'm not even watching. And I was like, yeah, you're not missing anything. I don't know why I'm watching it. It was terrible. And to be honest, I honestly didn't even know who was in the dunk contest before it started. So I don't know if the creativity is lacking. Obviously, the creativity is lacking, but obviously, the actually, making the dunks part is missing, which is kind of the most important part. Like, I don't feel like any of them practice. Like, I don't feel like any of them actually practice. Like, I just don't. It was so bad. Like, and like just to see like some of the like the old vets and OGs like sitting courtside watching it, like I know they were just like, what in the hell is this? Like there was one meme too where they showed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like getting up, leaving in the middle of the dunk contest. Like I was like, I'm sure he probably like had to go to the bathroom or something, but it was just crazy. Like he was like, yeah, I guess I'm go ahead and walk out on this part. It was just bad. Shaq was sitting there like I felt bad for the judges. Like we talk about the judges every year. Like I feel like 6 was the lowest that they could get. Like I don't even think that's fair. Like they should have been able to go from 0 to 10. Like some of them deserve zeros. Like how do you still get a 6 when you didn't make the dunk? Like it was just really, really, really bad. And I love, I watched First Take on Monday, and I love Stephen A's, which is crazy because I don't really like a lot of things Stephen A says all the time. But I loved his alternative to the dunk contest, his idea of having like a nationwide like dunk contest kind of like search throughout the year. And then, top 10, 15 people or whoever, and then like have NBA players like sponsor this person, like say like, oh, this is who I think is going to win because this person, and like actually have people who actually can dunk. Like I think one thing that they pointed out when watching it was like there's a difference between in-game dunkers and dunk contest dunkers. So as we could see, because it was just bad. I'm gonna stop talking now. It was just bad. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. I forgot one of my positives. I like the new format of the
Skills Challenge.
Stars.
Oh, Rising Challenge.
Yeah, how they made it like a tournament type thing, and they include some of the G League night guys. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And the Skills Challenge too. That was dope. But yeah, the celebrity games got to go.
I'm tired of seeing Tiffany Haddish run around yelling and screaming.
Like, who are these people?
I had no idea who half of them were. Probably more than half.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm out of touch or
no.
But you need to get like at least basketball adjacent people or people that the NBA crowd is gonna, people that the NBA crowd might potentially be aware of. Cause like I'm like, who are these guys? They had like a Spanish rapper or something.
Yeah.
Then
a long jumper.
Yeah, then I just found out I guess the guy that won MVP is a Peloton instructor.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yeah, they need to
Machine Gun Kelly. I'm tired of seeing Quavo too. Like, we get it. It's Quavo. Enough of Quavo at this point.
Yeah, they really need to figure that out. And of course the dunk contest, that's embarrassing. You know, they need to figure out how to get guys that can actually do well in the contest, or just do away with it and figure out something else, because the stuff they're doing now, yeah, there's nobody's gonna keep watching that. And it's probably all Dwayne Wade's fault.
Because you robbed Aaron Gordon, you did it, bruh. You will never live it down.
And yeah, like ever since then, pretty much every person we want to see in the dunk contest has been like, I'm not doing this. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But I mean, like, as with Stephen A suggesting, I mean, that's cool, but it's NBA All-Star Weekend, so NBA players need to be doing it. Like, plain and simple, man. Like, when did this become a thing, right, man? Where like guys didn't want to go out there and compete. Like, yeah, I don't know, man, but that was I think, are we at the bottom of the barrel for the dunk contest? Has it been worse than that?
I can't remember one that's been that bad. I'm sure there have been others that have been close to that, but like, I've never seen one that bad. Like, putting on Timbs and dunking was a thing. Like, I mean, like, I still don't really like when Blake Griffin jumped over a car, I was like, all right, it's the front of the car. It's not like he like really jumped over a car, but he jumped over a car. So it was something. But I'm like, this bro just put on Timbs. It was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and dunk. And I mean, they didn't even really dunk like that. So
yeah, that's bad parenting on Greg Anthony's part, because he just sat there and let him do it.
He took the Timbs out the bag for him.
Come on, man.
He was in agreement with it.
But yeah, the dunk contest was unanimously the low light of the weekend.
It was horrible. Oh, wait, but what made it worse is I think her name is Stephanie Reddy, that was interviewing Obi Toppin at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, she put him on blast at the end. She was like, yeah, so I mean, you know, Reggie and Dwayne was at the table, like, this is probably one, like, we should probably like change up the order for the dunk contest. And I was like, dang, did you have to put him on the spot like that after he just won this crappy thing? But yeah, it was crazy. It was just bad.
Yeah, like, they got to do away with the, hey, just sign up and you're part of the dunk contest thing. Like, honestly, I throw that away, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna tell them at the beginning of the year, if you end up on the most dunks list, you're liable to be in a contest. We can all make decisions. Be real honest. You got time to put it on people's head. You got time to entertain people at All-Star Weekend, and probably, you know, the league's in a great place financially. Boost the pot a little bit. Mm-hmm. Pot's a little outdated. Mm-hmm. You know the times and days we're living in. At that 25 or 40K, it's not registering for these players. Okay,
I blow that in a weekend.
Some of them spent twice that much in Cleveland just to entertain themselves this weekend.
Yeah.
So then the next few are in other desolate places from a nightlife standpoint. Yeah, you're gonna have to up the pot. Another thing, but I don't think you can get these folks to do it. It's like, you can do King of the Hill, but I don't think people will play. Like, you know, we see it at USA basketball sometimes when they get to it afterwards, and it's amazing theater. I don't think you can get them to do that out there, because the people we want to see aren't going to do it. But again, we got a lot to discuss. We're going to take our first break, and when we get back, Cardell's going to join us to talk about the CIAA, the first day of action down in Baltimore. You're watching the Focus TV. What's good, Cardell?
Good. Hold on a second. All right. Can you hear me?
Yep. So I'm just gonna bring us back in real quick. You know, toss it up to you and let you finish, let you go through what you go through, and then, you know what I'm saying, we'll keep it moving after that. As soon as you're done, we'll transition out. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, Got Cardell Dudley Jr. checking in with us from Baltimore. First day of the CIAA tournament. Cardell, what's been going on out there?
You can tell everybody kind of excited just getting their footing. Today was more so the women's having more of a heavier schedule than the fellas. Actually, right now with the fellas, this is the first game for them. Virginia State is leading Cleveland 52-48. It's been a back and forth affair, man. I thought Cleveland was about to pull away at the half. They outplayed Virginia State in the first half. Their defense was on point. They held Virginia State to about 34% shooting at the half, but so far in the second half, about midway, it's about 10:31 left in the game. Virginia State turned it up. They made some incredible adjustments. Right now, they're shooting 48% from the field in the second half, and they're bombing them from three, shooting 40%. That's what pretty much got them the lead. Cleveland's trying to make a run right now, but right now, Virginia State's in control. A couple players that stand out, for Virginia State. Antoine Miles, he's small, but he got a lot of heart. Super quick, shifty guard. Has 14 points and 7 of 13 shooting from the field. He's also a defensive pass, pressuring 94 feet. It's hard for Clayton's guards to get around him. So he's helping spark a lot of turnovers and spark their runs, man. He's just one of those, small energy guys that can score it in a myriad of ways as long as he's under control. A couple shots, you can look at the coach's face and just like, come on, man, like, what are you doing? But other than that, he's calming down and getting it done. You know what I mean? Also, I know his scoring isn't up to par, but Terrence Whitfield, about 6'4", got 8 rebounds in the game, doing all the dirty work. He's been key. He's been saving possessions for Virginia State, and that's what allowed them to claw back and ultimately take the lead in the second half. Also, Michael Melvin. He's hitting the shots. He started all kind of slow and sluggish in the first half, but he's picking it up. I think he's 3 for 3 in the second half. He's fishing the ball as well. 3 assists to go with his 9 points and 3 rebounds. On Cleveland's side, it's a balanced scoring attack, but they're led by Donnell Freya Jr. He's probably the best shooter on the floor right now, man. He's bombing away. 2 for 3 from deep. 4 for 9 from the field. He has a team high 11 points. I actually think he should shoot more. He has a nice form, rotation, and he's fearless. He's not really intimidated. Some of his teammates in the first half are kind of, the bright lights and whatnot in conference tournament play. It bothered him a little bit. So, but he looked like he's a dog. He looked like he's ready to bring it. So I think also he should just try to keep being aggressive. They're going to need it to overcome this deficit right now. And also I want to shout out, again, another dirty work player for Cleveland. Look, man, don't judge his name. Hal Bonte Hutchinson. I'm going to leave it there, man. 4 points, 7 rebounds, man, and a couple blocks as well. So, he's been key as well in the middle. As for the ladies, here are a couple of results. Winston-Salem State beat St. Augustine 67-54. They advanced. They'll play top seed Lincoln University tomorrow at 4:30. Livingstone defeated Fayetteville State 49-38. They advanced to play Johnson C. Smith University tomorrow at noon. Virginia State University defeated Shaw University 62-38. They'll play third seed Bowie State tomorrow at 2 p.m. Well, actually Thursday at 2 p.m. And Cleveland University on the women's side defeated Virginia University 68-56. They'll play second seed Elizabeth City State tomorrow at 2:20.
All right, Cardell, I want to thank you for checking in. Enjoy the rest of the tournament. We know you got a busy week. I'm going to let everybody know some of the other gyms you're going to be in this week just a little bit. Enjoy the rest of the night. I want to thank Cardell for checking in from the CIAA tournament. I also want to talk about something else we'll be attending this week. The FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 Americas qualifiers. They're set to tip this week, so the ESA has some more action for international basketball. USA faces Puerto Rico on Thursday. The U.S. will play Mexico on Sunday. But, the 9-4-50. This week, Jamal Hayward is showing you a breakdown of midpoint scoring options without dribbles. Again, breakdown of midpoint scoring options without dribbles. That's followed by our second break. Again, we'll see you on the other side of the break. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. I want to thank Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9-4-50 breakdown this week. All right, Ray, the floor is yours. You know, the Wizards had a little break. It's 24, 25 games left or what have you. What's your outlook on the second half of the season, which starts, I believe, Friday? I think they're back in action on Friday.
Yeah, approaching All-Star break, some teams, they're either playing well and they're like really not excited about the break because it might interrupt their flow. Other teams might be struggling and are looking forward to the break so they can pretty much start fresh. The Wiz are in that latter group. The first half of the season has been tough for them, but they went into the break on a high note. They beat the Nets, right before All-Star weekend. So, that's some positivity to build on. But, they do have some things that that are going their way. It's been more continuity since the trades. Guys able to settle into their roles and get consistent minutes. So naturally that's going to lead to just a little more positive results for them. They still been kind of up and down as far as wins and losses, but we are seeing some guys get a little more comfortable. Mainly for me, I think Denny has benefited the most from just getting the roster situated. Because their wing situation was a little crowded, and sometimes he just got lost in the shuffle. But it looks like now that he's able to, he knows when and how much he's going to play. He's able to produce. So yeah, man, how this season's going to look is up to them, man. They can fight their way into the play-in situation. The good thing is they've already went through the hellish part of their schedule. But they are the Wizards, so it's not like they can be looking down at any teams. But yeah, they've done the heavy lifting already as far as their schedule goes. So they got a favorable road ahead of them, if you can say that, in terms of trying to secure a playing spot. So again, man, it's up to them. They just got to play basketball, and so we'll see how that goes. In regards to the Go-Go, they played one game in the last week, heading into All-Star break, had a big win over the Greensboro Swarm, 106-85. They went into the break with some momentum on a 3-game winning streak. In their win against Greensboro, Jordan Shackle, man, he got things started real quick. He had 19 points in the first quarter, including 5 threes. So yeah, he got off to a pretty hot start. Cooled off a little bit for the rest of the game. He ended up going 5-15 from 3 and finished with 25 points. But it was a balanced attack from the Go-Go. They were able to win pretty comfortably. In that game, man, they just stuck to their bread and butter. They dominated in the paint. They outscored Greensboro 62-28 points in the paint, and they controlled the glass. They out-rebounded them 59-35, including 25 offensive rebounds that led to 24 second chance points. Jaime Akinike had another double-double, 12 points, 16 rebounds, continuing his stellar play. Yeah, man, they're pretty consistent, man. Like what they do well, they continuously do well, and what they struggle with, they continue to struggle with. So, you like to see them kind of move the needle in those areas that require improvement. But, they got a pretty solid foundation, like I said last week, in the things they do well, which typically leads to wins. They defend, they rebound, and they dominate the paint. If those are your building blocks, then you got a pretty solid chance. The 3-point shooting, it needs to get better. They have moments where they get hot, but they're really streaky and inconsistent. So if that catches up and they minimize their turnovers, then they're going to be really tough to beat. But as it stands, man, they're doing pretty well, and and they just gotta again kind of pick up the slack in the areas that they're falling behind in. But fortunately for them, all the effort stuff is there, and that really goes a long way because they had won some games simply by outworking, out hustling, and pretty much out muscling the other team. So yeah, that's a good place to start. The shots falling, we can always correct that, but if you don't walk into the gym with effort, then you're you're pretty much not in a good spot to win. So yeah, Coach Williams, he's got them in a place where they're playing hard for him. They just got to fix those leaks, and they'll be all right.
I appreciate it, Ray. And yeah, the second part of the season should be fun. A lot of things in the East continue to change, especially for the teams near the top of the East. Milwaukee keeps adding folks. You guys haven't been under rock. Brooklyn may or may not have some people coming back. If you haven't heard, teams like Miami continue to get healthy. Should be fun. But like Ray said, man, the Wizards are the Wizards. We're gonna see how they end this wonderful season. All right, so give me a little bit. I got some extra to get through tonight. Filling in for Cardell's GW, update. So we'll start with the GW men's. Men's basketball net season sweep of URI 72-61. Colonials move over 500 in league play at 7-6. The Buff and Blue seized the moment and sprinted out to his largest halftime lead of the season, 44-30 on the strength of 8 made three-pointers in the first half, the last of which came off the fingertips of Joe Bamisil at the halftime buzzer. Virginia Tech transfer had 11 of his team leading 20 points in the opening stanza, and GW never let the lead dip below 7 points in the second half to move above 500 in the A10. This late in the season, for the first time since finishing the 16-17 season at 10-8 in the 72-61 home win. Behind the Sterling guard play of Bamisil, James Bishop, 12 points, 2 assists. First year, Brian Freeman at 13 points and 3 assists. GW controlled the action, assisting 16 times while committing just 11 turnovers and forcing 17 Rams miscues. The trio accounted for 45 points, with 7 of GW's 11 threes on the game between them. That's the 3 of them went to work, clearly. GW led for 38-17 of game action after taking control early to leave no doubt. The Colonials led by as many as 15 in sweeping Rhode Island for the first time since 95. GW will look to continue its conference climb when it hosts Richmond on Tuesday night. Tip time from Smith Center, 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus and NBC Sports Washington. The Buff and Blue will enter play just a half game behind the Spiders, with Richmond standing at 8-6 in the Big Ten. As for GW women's basketball tripped up at St. Joseph's, 57-34. Mayowa Taiwo leads Colonials with 8 points and 11 rebounds. The Hawks put together a strong offensive performance, shooting 46% from the field and 50 from 3, while holding the Colonials to just 34 points in a 57-34 win. Without point guard Kyra Frames and starting its 11th different lineup of the season, GW had trouble from the start of Sunday's contest. The Colonials allowed St. Joseph's to begin the game on an 11-3 run. While the Colonials' defense settled down, GW's offense never found its stride, trailing 31-13 going to half. In the second half, GW came out with a little bit of a fire. It looked like a comeback might be in the cards. The Colonials outscored the Hawks 15-7 in the third frame and were able to cut St. Joe's lead down to single digits with 40 seconds left in the third. However, St. Joe's regained its form in the final 10 minutes, outscoring GW's 19-6 and wrapping up the W. The Buff and Blues' offensive struggles came down to 2 key factors on Sunday: its lack of threes and missed opportunities at the charity stripe. The Colonials hit only one of their 23-point attempts while shooting just 35% from the free throw line, 7-20. That is a horrid combination. A horrid combination. Next up, the Colonials will travel to Davidson for the final regular season road game of the year. Tip-off between GW and the Wildcats is slated for Wednesday at 7 p.m. All right, as for the Maryland women, last Thursday featured the typical Big Ten clash as Maryland hosted Ohio State. It was the first time former Terp Taylor Mikesell, she first transferred from Maryland. She went to Oregon, then she went from Oregon to Ohio State. Regardless, that was her first time being back in College Park since transferring, and she handled business. The Terps rallied for a 77-72 victory, their 8th consecutive win. But Mikesell, she's given them close to 30 twice this season when she's seen her own team for just cause. But if you want to hear more about that recap, an in-depth recap, head over to the FocusTV.com and you guys can check that out. As for their most recent game, Sunday, Maryland went to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan. The Wolverines had beat Maryland in College Park earlier this season, handedly, might I add, and they would complete the season series sweep with the 71-59 win on Sunday. The win put Michigan in the first place in the Big Ten. Prior to this year, since Maryland's joined the Big Ten, Michigan had only beat Maryland once. This year, they did it twice. First in Xfinity, then this week, good old Ann Arbor. Chloe Bibby had 15 points to lead the Terps. Cheyenne Sellers had 11 points. Diamond Miller had 10. But, I think you guys heard me mention Nas Hillman's name before. She showed out. Yeah, she's a whole problem.
She's like, take this 30.
Pretty much. 29 and 11 from Nas Hillman. The game came down to foul trouble. We know, Maryland, they're kind of light in terms of the numbers that they have on their bench, what have you. With what they really can't afford is foul trouble in the post. They don't, after Angel, there's not really size. Like their advantage, their size and athleticism on the wing. And even Angel, she jokes about Maryland have a bunch of big guards. Hey, look, man, that's essentially what they have. They got a bunch of big guards, and then Mimi Collins, who is probably a 4, forced to play the 5 in Maryland because of what, current roster setup. That said, Reese was saddled to the bench much of the game in foul trouble. And for that reason, they sorely needed her size and length to deal with Hillman. Hillman's not 6'4", 6'5", or whatever, but she's one of those players that if she played on Maryland, she fits right in with the rest of the recruiting class. 6'2", dumb length, except down in the post, you think she's 6'4". The Wolverines also did a tremendous job of disrupting Maryland's offense. On the defensive end, they refused to let screens be set cleanly. They pressured the heck out the ball, and they killed them on the glass, which is something Maryland usually prides themselves in. The silver lining is that we got to see Ashley Owusu return. She's been out for a couple games after injuring her ankle. Up next for Maryland, they host Indiana on Friday at 8 p.m. at the Xfinity Center. A quick DC United update. DC United announced a 3-year partnership with blockchain technology provider XDC Network. I'm going to mess that up at least 70 times this year. The partnership is the first of its kind between a professional sports team in the United States and a blockchain network. Together, they will offer DCU fans unique access experiences never before seen in MLS. The club will also feature XDC on the front of both of their home and away kits, as well as training tops beginning this season. The black and red home opener is this weekend. It's not to bury the lead. Season kicks off this weekend. Preseason's done. Live bullets start flying this Saturday, 6 p.m. start time as they host Charlotte FC. So, if you guys end up out there, hope we see you guys out there. All right, folks. Y'all know what time it is. Everyone's favorite portion of the show. Rapid fire. All right, let's see what questions I got for y'all this week. This should be fun. Oh, this is a popular one because I think everybody knows about it. I feel like everyone's heard about it. So, I don't know if you've heard Octavian Raymond. Juwan Howard and Wisconsin's coaching staff had a kerfuffle. Yes, that's the word I'm using because I'm seeing some compare it to the malice at the palace. And no, we're going to stop that now. It was a kerfuffle. That's what we're calling it. Still, get into it. All right, so it's the end of the game. They're going through the handshake line. Howard appeared to be at odds with Greg Gard following the way that the game ended. Teams pressing, timeouts being called, yada, 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 petty coach stuff. Greg, he looked to have been ready to walk past Gard in the handshake line. Like, look, I'm not going to look at you. I'm 6'9". I have to look down to acknowledge you.
Yeah.
I'm going to look past you. We're not on the same eye level. It's fine. Like, clearly, I don't want to talk to you. Cool. Greg Gard would have none of that. He decided to put his hands on Juwan Howard, and Howard responded in kind. Words were further exchanged. That led to some shoving between players, and that appeared to have been sparked by Wisconsin assistant coach Joe Krabenhoft, who appeared to have made contact with a couple Michigan players. To which once Juwan Howard saw that, he responded by open hand slapping him. Because I want to make sure while we talk about this, we make sure we include all the details. His hand, it was initially balled up and thought about it. It crossed his mind. I shall not give my hand a fist. He unfurled a fist and put that big old hand right here across about to mess this man's name up. Kromenhoff's brow. And, and it was from a few people away. Because if he was closer, he probably would have got more of Juwan Howard's palm. But it was just a few digits. Long story short, suspension has been handed out. We watched all the wild racist rhetoric on Twitter since it happened, and people should be fired. This isn't the 80s. Thug got thrown around several times, which is really interesting to me because college coaches, very funny. Glass houses and whatnot, calling anybody using that word, where some of y'all be doing some.
I mean, I didn't see chairs get thrown before, but you know.
Man, I've seen people put hands on people. I've seen people solicit all types of activities knowingly, but you know we're worried about this in this moment. That's the suspensions that were handed out. Howard received a 5-game suspension. Cool. Terrence Williams and Musa Diabete, 2 of Michigan's players, along with Wisconsin guard Jacoby Neath, were all suspended 1 game apiece. Howard was also fined $40K, while Greg Gard, Wisconsin's head coach, was fined $10K, no suspension. Thoughts on how this played out in regards to the punishment that was handed down? Octavia.
I remember I was actually watching the Maryland Michigan game when it came across the bottom of the screen and it said that, and I was like, oh gosh. And then it was like, I got a Bleacher Report alert. I was like, oh gosh, something really happened. And I went to go watch and I was like, I feel like it's unacceptable. Let's be 100. It's definitely unacceptable because Juwan Howard, you are a head coach of a prestigious institution where you are leading young men, and you can't expect them to do something that you aren't willing to do. If had the shoe been on the other foot and it was players that were having this altercation, I'm sure Juwan Howard would feel some type of way about his player and held them accountable. So in retrospect, you can't be that person. So that's the first thing that popped in my head when I said it. I was like, dang, like Juwan, I know you was probably mad, and I'm not saying he didn't have a reason to be mad, but the same reason that you stated with everything that was on Twitter in this day and age and in this climate, you can't be the angry black man that slaps the man on TV. You just can't. And it's terrible because just like what happened is exactly what I figured would happen, is that now his character is in question. He's a thug. Remember, he was on the Fab Five. Remember this, remember that. Now we're going all down his memory lanes where Juwan Howard has been nothing but an upstanding citizen. He's always been a great player. He's never had any questions of his character before. So I just hated the fact that with one mistake, it's like, oh, throw it away. People were bringing up the instance where I guess there was another situation earlier this year where he stated, you know, I was going to kill that guy. Like, okay, like, you know, people get upset and they say stuff like that. I'm sure he didn't necessarily mean he was going to go put a hit out on the guy or cap a, you know, in him. Like, come on, like, let's be real. I do think it's unfair that the other coach did not get suspended. Yeah, he got fined $10,000, but I personally feel like that he instigated it. Like, had he not have just left that man alone, because that's what people don't realize. Number one, like personal space. If I ask you to leave me be, leave me be. And I hated the press conference afterwards where he tried to say, like, you know, as soon as we walked up there, you know, he pulled his mask down and he started wagging his finger in my face. So I'm like, that's not what happened. that's clearly not what happened. And that's why I hate situations like this, because people remember them differently. But let's look at the tape. And Juwan, definitely he pulled his mask down as he was walking by and stated, I'll remember that, or whatever he said that he said. You decided to put your left forearm in his chest, and that's what started the whole scuffle. As far as the assistant coach, I'm sure he said something. I'm like 99.9% sure that he said something. I think I saw a clip that nobody is showing as well, as like there was like a coach in the background, like doing a Generation X in the back to the coach. I'm like, come on. Nobody saw that. And I mean, my man was going for it too. He was like,
hold on, wait. I saw that clip. That was from that incident?
Yes. like Ray, right behind him, as that was happening, my man was letting it go.
I mean, he was going for it. He was like he was upset. So I'm like, of course, that's also riling up the situation even worse. Like, that's how I know something was said, but something had to have been said. And I honestly think Juwan Howard is saving face for these people. Like, let me not make it worse than what it already is at this point. But something else, I just feel like somebody else he should at least been suspended as well. If it was for a game, that's fine. It doesn't have to be the 5 games that Juwan got. It doesn't have to be anything. But I mean, then even the players got suspended a game. Like, you can't tell me that not one of Wisconsin's players did anything. Like, I just don't see. I understand that Juwan's his how he reacted in that situation probably heightened the situation. I get that, but their coach is the one that started the situation. Like, if somebody tells you don't touch me, stay away from me, stay away from me. And going back and forth about this, well, you guys were pressing and you guys called a timeout. Like, who cares? Like, how old are we? And like, now people are talking about maybe we should get rid of the handshake line. Like, come on, bro. Now, I would say the only time we could talk about getting rid, honestly, they shouldn't be shaking hands at this point if all we care about is COVID. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that if that's the situation that you want to bring up. But for this to be the reason now people say, well, maybe we shouldn't be do handshake lines and people can't keep their emotions. Like, no, they need to be adults. I mean, because I still think it's terrible. I hate in the NBA when every time the Lakers lose, like LeBron like beelines to the locker room. He don't say what's up to his friends. He don't say good game to nobody. I mean, he is gone. And it's like, I just hate bad sportsmanship. And don't get me wrong, I'm a sore loser as well. I hate losing. But I just don't feel like in a professional setting like that, and then you have kids that are in college that are going to be aspiring to be in the professionals, like, you have to suck it up and accept defeat and move forward gracefully. So I don't think they should get rid of it for that aspect. If they have, other reasons why they feel like they should, that's fine. But yeah, I feel for Juwan. I'm glad he came out with another statement, actually apologizing. Because the first one afterwards, he was just like, yeah, like, it is what it is, bro. Like, yeah, I slapped him. That's how I felt like he wanted to say. But yeah, it was just all a big hot mess on a Sunday afternoon, Sabbath. Chick-fil-A wasn't even open. Y'all out here acting crazy.
I'm with you. I was watching the Maryland Michigan game, and I was like, Twitter started moving. I'm like, oh man, what did you want? That's the first thing I thought. I was like, man, and I was thinking, I'm not gonna lie, before I started, I was like, did somebody put their hands on him? I was like, yeah, I'll look at it later. That was that. But Ray?
Yeah, man, like Octavia said, it was Juwan Howard can't do that, but the Wisconsin coach calls the situation. Like, plain and simple, man.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you touching people? Like, and then what makes you, like, if Juwan's walking past, clearly wants nothing to do with them, what makes you think you have the right to impede his progress and try to make him stay and talk? He's lucky he didn't get slapped. And I hope they learned a valuable lesson. Don't put your hands on people, plain and simple, man. And then all these overreactions, like, we got the Bob Knight apologist, Dick Vitale. Like, come on, dude. Like, nah, man. We not about to do this. Then it was one dude that's been tweeting through it, man. I forgot who it was. Is it Seth Davis?
Yeah, Seth Davis.
Yeah. Like, dude, find some other business, man. Talk about something else.
He's all over the board with it too.
Yeah, like, and nobody's mentioning, had Greg Gard not put his hands on this dude, we wouldn't be here.
That's the point.
Like, and then for him not to get I knew the punishment was going to be lopsided, but I mean, like, again, it's still disheartening to see it play out that way. And because, one, Greg Gard put his hands on Juwan, and then the assistant coach came into the fracas and escalated the situation even further.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if Juwan got 5 games, I think they both should have got 2 or something.
Something.
Because they clearly were the only difference is they got slapped and Juwan didn't. Like, that's the difference.
And also, again, whatever good good character argument that's being made for Wisconsin. My man over there doing the DX sign kills all of it. You weren't even part of it.
But I'm telling you, he was going for it back there. But you see how far back he was when he was doing it, right?
He was like 40 feet away, but he was also on camera. Like he was, all of it was in 4K, including he was in 8K, and nobody said anything. I'm like, so that's not a reflection of the university, the character, etc. All right, cool, no problem.
That's why. Like, so I did see the clip, but I thought that's why I thought it was just they was just using another example of some other coach doing some.
He was so far back from the scuffle, right? He was like going for it, like
basically by himself.
Yeah. But that's what I was going to say too. Like, I mean,
kerfuffle.
Like even the coach, like you said, like what makes you think you can stop Juwan Howard? Like you said, Juwan Howard is looking over top of you, bro. He's 6'9". He played in the NBA. Nobody knows where you came from. I don't even know his name. I don't care what his name is, to be honest. So what makes you think you're going to stop Juwan Howard that used to play for Michigan, that used to play for the Heat, that's 6'9", however many pounds he is, to stop and talk to you? Sir, the audacity.
And then secondly, I'm sure Greg Gard's been coaching for a long time. Right? I'm sure you've blown off handshakes and have had other coaches do that to you. Let it go. Like, coaches are some of the most unstable people on this planet. All right? Like, just be completely honest. Something's wrong with all of them. That's not the first or last time somebody didn't want to shake your grubby little hand. Let it go. But nobody told you to put your hands on someone. It's like it stops and ends there. Keep your hands to yourself. He was going around you. He was going to walk through that whole line and not look at none of y'all except y'all players probably and go back to the locker room with his team. That was it. Is he wrong for putting a hand on somebody? Yeah. But he didn't put the hand on you who touched him. So, again, I want to go back to what what's my man's name? Craven Hoft. What did you say and why did you touch that man's players? Because if he didn't contact Mr. Guard, and they were face to face, what made him reach across the country to put his hands across your face?
Exactly.
What did you do? I would like to know. Because if he's just some crazy thug and just is off kilter, he should, like we're saying, it's Malice in the Palace. He should have hit you like Ben Wallace. Like he should have cleaned you, right? According to this character assassination, because you were the one that was right there. He left you alone. He said he put the big finger in your face. Don't touch you. Don't touch me. Keep your hands off me. And that was it. He got a little lecture, and he went around. That was it. You know what I'm saying? That was it. But you, sir, who came in here touching his kids, what'd you do?
He said
I'm curious. I want to know what you did. And I feel like that's the part of it that we're never going to find out. Mm-hmm. What did you say? What did you say? Because you made contact with a couple players. What did you say?
How does he not get suspended for that? Like, come on, man.
He had to have said something. He had, like, because just like you said, like this is a confrontation between head coach and head coach. The assistants are supposed to come in to break up the head coaches and head coaches. Y'all supposed to be the one like, all right, coach tripping. Let me bring him back. How you go up there and turn it up even more? You came and turned it up even more. You're a terrible assistant coach. Like he should be back. He should get the head coach should suspend him as an assistant coach. Because you're supposed to have my back and de-escalate the situation, but you came in and escalated the situation. That's not what I need my assistants to do. I'm supposed to be the only one escalating stuff out here, and y'all supposed to be calming me down. Like, what you doing? And then whoever homeboy was back there giving the Generation X, he got to go.
I still don't understand how my man came to work today. No punishment, no questions.
And how old is he to know that? Like at first I was like, he can't be like a student assistant or something. Like, come on, he gotta be old. It's a grown man.
He was old, man. He was old.
That was an old man waiting for the perfect moment to get that off.
He's like, I'm X-Pac out here, Tribulation out here, bro.
He was behind everybody. All right, one more question, then we'll get out of here. Trying to find the most petty question I got left. Yeah, it's a tie for me. But Browns fans, I gotta go. It's gonna go your way once again. I can't leave y'all alone. I'm sorry. Browns fans, I know it's been a long year. Not quite yet over. 21-22 season has concluded. You did not make the playoffs, win the Super Bowl, etc. Yada, yada, yada. Odell Beckham left you, found better things in life, won the Super Bowl, contributed to the win. Unfortunately, towards ACL again. That said, his former teammate, his college teammate, Jarvis Landry, his former Browns teammate now as well, took to the Twitter waves today with a series of 3 tweets. I'm going to read you guys these in order. The first, reality behind all this is I came back to play in the best shape of my life. I got hurt week 2 with a high-grade MCL sprain, partial quad tear, and bone bruise. Then came back way too early and ended up staying hurt the entire season. You never heard me mention anything about it. Second tweet. Also, my media availability didn't happen because I was focused on getting on the field as healthy as possible during the week and after games. A strategic plan was set in place to be followed. I put the ball in Cleveland's court by telling them I would like to stay, but if not then, third tweet. I've put the ball in Cleveland court by telling them I would like to stay, but if not then, continued. I'm confident enough in myself to be a better, healthy me this year, moving forward to helping do my part in winning a championship elsewhere. So the interesting piece of this puzzle is you would think this is being spoken by somebody who's a free agent. He is not. Jarvis has years left on his deal. However, the way the NFL contract works, which is wonderful, the guaranteed portion of his contract has been paid. So while there's years, the guaranteed money has been paid. Is Jarvis on his way out, and how will Browns fans deal with this after losing Odell? Octavia, we'll start with you.
Free my man Jarvis. Get him up out of there, man. Jarvis is looking at what Odell did, and he's like, man, I've been here longer, dealing with this longer. I probably convinced you to come here. I done convinced you to come here to this mess. Now you done got out. You free. You out of LA. You about to have a baby. You know, you want a Super Bowl. You ain't even had to play the whole game to win the Super Bowl, too. Like, you took half the game off, you know. I want some of that, too. I want some of that, too. And I don't think Cleveland will be able to handle it as far as their fans, because Jarvis Landry, when he wasn't hurt, was their go-to. Was his security blanket, whatever you want to call it. It was Jarvis Landry. But I really think Jarvis just is like, I think what he said this morning was trying to save face for Cleveland. Like, you know, I'll stay if we could do something. But I really feel like he was just like, yeah, but I kind of want to go. So, like, I really think this was like his outcry to be like, hey, everybody, I was just hurt last year. I'm good now. Come pick me. Anybody need one? I'm a really good slot receiver. I'll catch the ball. I just want to go to a contender because my man got a ring. Now I feel kind of salty. So free my man Jarvis, because we know Cleveland ain't doing nothing next year. We know this. I mean, whether they keep Baker or let Baker go, because if they keep him, they let him go, who they gonna get? Free my man. Look, if he healthy enough, because we looking for a veteran wide receiver ourselves. So I might have to look into it. Like, if got any of those veteran wide receivers, we need some.
I knew at some point her answer was going to get back to the Eagles. No matter of time. But go ahead, Ray.
First of all, Cleveland fans should be used to disappointment. So it's Tuesday. You know?
just another off season, guys.
So stop acting like you've experienced any type of success. This is how things go. Second, get him out of there, man. Get everybody out of there and let Baker save the day.
See how that go.
Yeah, because when he couldn't get the ball to one of the most talented receivers in football, when he was open several times, it was the receiver's fault. So, yeah, see how you do. Ride out with him. Get Jarvis Landry out of there. Get him somewhere where he's got a chance to, have some success. And, let the Browns franchise just wallow in self-destruct mode like they've been doing since Jim Brown retired. So
Yeesh.
Just move them out of Cleveland. Maybe they'll do better when they move out of Cleveland or something. Go somewhere else.
Y'all are so kind to the people.
Go
They're
to
just going through
Canton.
something, man. They're going through something right now.
Right now?
Hey, I tried Cleveland, but now, like, let's be honest, right? The guaranteed portion of his deal is done. So where are you trading him? Cool story. Where are you trading him? You gave him all his money already. Like, they're monopoly money contracts at some point with the NFL. You gave him all his real money. So if he got a year left, 2 years left, what's the point? You would have to probably restructure him or something anyway. So, yeah, and you don't know what you're doing with quarterback or whatever. Go see what you can get. Free agency start, we're probably like, 20 days out or something?
Yeah, the franchise tag window just opened today.
Oh, see?
So
we
about to start getting franchise tagged out here.
Hey, man, I know who's not getting franchise tag is one Jarvis Landry after that.
Exactly. It's not him, though.
Want to thank you guys for spending time with us this week. We'll return next week as far as the Focus TV goes. For the rest of this week, follow us Focus TV on all your social media mediums. Got a lot more going on. Again, the Wizards are back. The MLS season starts this week. I really can't wrap my head around that. And I'm sure it's going to feel like in 4 weeks the WNBA is going to be here. I know it seems like it's far away. Guarantee it's going to feel like 3 weeks. So that means we got a lot coming next week. We'll have NFL wrap up later this week as well. Don't forget to check out this week's episode on Roku at 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. And then also DCTV.org every Friday, 10 p.m. Tune in. If you're outside the city, you can watch it on their website. Again, DCTV.org. Just check the show schedule, and they'll let you guys know when it re-airs throughout the week. Y'all have a great one. For Octavia Ray and myself, we'll see y'all next week.